Hey guys, it's Icy from Icy Studio and my blush, lip and cheek tint. That's the only makeup I can do because I'm a lazy MF. So I've got here with me my babies. So I've got here. Ayan na naman yung English. Diyos ko, second video na. Ano ng balita? Ay nako, 6 years na sa Australia. Ganun pa rin yung English. Parang nasa Pilipinas. Ano ba? So I've got here with me an acrylic signage I've done for my baby's first birthday. I don't know if you know, but acrylic is one of the most challenging surfaces that I've ever worked on. My favorite material for signages ever is wood, and if you haven't checked out my previous video on how I do wooden signs, it's either here or here. Acrylic surfaces I find are the most challenging surfaces that I've ever worked on before or in my calligraphy life. Tagal ka na nagka-calligraphy, girl, 2 years pa lang. Yeah, as I was saying, wood is my favorite, but then I kind of like a good challenge sometimes. In my experience with acrylic, I find that there are two main factors that need to be considered. It's a combination of technique and actual paint that you use on the board. I've done quite a few acrylic signages just in the past. So the first one I've done was a wishing well and a little signage for a wedding, and then I did one for my baby's baptism, and I did another one for, and it's pretty much the only acrylic piece that I am genuinely proud of and would actually show off. I find that when you work on acrylic, when you try and letter on acrylic and use acrylic paint, even if it's acrylic paint, it streaks, it's not smooth. So when you look closely at the letters here, the letters are very streaky instead of being very smooth. So I was thinking, girl, just get a cry cut. But then, girl, do you have money? I'm like, girl, no. Girl, then do it yourself. If you've ever used a very inky pen and then you've written on a very glossy surface and then the ink just spreads out and doesn't dry, parang ganon, nakakaloka. It is a very challenging surface to work on, and I salute all of the calligraphers out there who make beautiful acrylic pieces. As I was saying, I find that sometimes it's the technique, because with lettering on big pieces, you're gonna be doing faux calligraphy. So with faux calligraphy, which is technically, to those of you who don't know, faux calligraphy translates to fake calligraphy, where you do a monoline outline first and then darken or make some of the strokes bold, like paano pa to i-explain? Basta faux calligraphy, search nyo na lang. Nahirapan na ako. Like, I would do a stroke and then I'd used to go over that stroke and it would kind of erase the stroke that I did, and it would look so gross. Hindi naman gross. It would look so ugly. It wouldn't look smooth. And then I consulted another calligrapher friend of mine who's amazing. She does like really good acrylic signages and acrylic stuff. Check her out at sincerely.camille on Instagram, and she shared one of her tips, which is to actually to actually not go over the stroke again, but to go on either side, to thicken the stroke. So I tried that, but still it doesn't fucking look good. It looks so ugly. It's so frustrating. And another tip that I found was from Becca of the Happy Ever Crafter. She did an acrylic tutorial, because usually paint pens have coarse nibs, so instead of using a paint pen, we use like a brush. It doesn't really have to be a professional brush, just like have some brushes that vary in size and take some of the paint into a little container and just paint the letters out. So that's what I kind of did with this one, but this didn't look good. Oh, I'm trying to contain my anger, but and then I found acrylic react differently to different types of paint, so I've been using acrylic paints, but then again it really depends on the brand. I bought an acrylic paint marker from Miniso, but then Camille does it really well, and then my work looks fugly AF. And then one of my calligraphy friends on Instagram at Little Moments Lettering, she suggested that I use this specific brand, acrylic paint brand called Liquitex, and then I bought a marker online and a tube of paint. So yes, it really depends on the technique you use, the materials you use, and the certain paint that you use. And because I wasn't really happy with how this turned out prior to sticking the pictures, I decided, oh, why not bring my Instax camera and take photos at the birthday and then just stick them all here. And actually made a photo wall out of the signage, and I think the photos made up for the actual work. So materials wise, so of course you need the acrylic sheet. I get mine from Bunnings, so if you're not from New Zealand or Australia, it's a hardware store. And of course you'll need your paints. You can either use an acrylic marker or an acrylic paint and a paintbrush. Just make sure that you practice with your materials on a sample acrylic sheet first before you actually do the real thing. Especially if this is your first time. Like this isn't my first time, and I'm still not happy with it. I used metallic rose gold and Liquitex white. So yeah, those are your materials. Saan na ba yung script? I already have a script, but I still feel disorganized. My wooden signages, I draft the piece on Procreate, and then I test the paints on a sample acrylic sheet, and then I print off the work, and I have to prep the acrylic sheet, and then I go crazy, and we do the real thing. We do we do this. So I'll see you at the end of the video. Hey. guess that's my acrylic signage process video. And I guess what I could have done better with this sign is that the writing was too small. If this was like a signage and not a photo wall, it would be like bigger, maybe 2 to 3 times bigger than this. So the strokes would be actually thicker and more opaque. And because it's an acrylic signage with a metallic paint on it, it's really hard to take a good photo of the shimmeriness of the metallic. So you'll have to consider like where you're gonna place the signage. Make sure that the words are readable. Make sure people can actually read what's on the signage instead of them going like, ano daw? Ano nakasulat? Twinkle, twinkle, little, ano? Ganon. Oh, by the way, this is not a sponsored video. Excuse me, I bought all this myself. Pero baka naman. Hi, Bannings. Hi, Liquitex. Hi, Instax. Sponsor naman dyan. What about you? Do you have anything, any suggestions or tips that you can share with everyone? Please help me with my acrylic sign. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've taken something valuable from it, no matter how small. And I hope I have entertained you somehow with my stupid antics and my ESL mess. And if there's any other tutorials that are bullet journaling, calligraphy, lettering related, please let me know so I can give you useful content. Okay, so anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!